Good morning, everyone. I first want to thank you all for taking the time to be here. As Marco said, I want to thank DJ and Andrew for putting together all the technology that we've got here, and Marco for taking the time out to organize this two-day event. It's surreal to be in this room and be face to face with the growth of Guardian. We have 19 leaders from this company, and that blows my mind. We're all in the same room talking about the future of Guardian. 10 years ago, we didn't have 19 employees. Isaiah just did an excellent job. Excellent presentation, Isaiah, on what we are trying to do. I want to take some time this morning to talk to you guys about why we are doing it. I found a short video I want to play for you guys.
What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm gonna show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director? Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now, right now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
Okay, here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
So what is our why? In our industry, maybe more than any other industry, knowing, being connected to, and walking with our why on a daily basis matters. This is social work. We are a part of families and patients' lives at the most critical, painful, and vulnerable point that many of them will ever experience. The work we do for these reasons matters. I'm going to show you a few articles from the last several years that I think really highlight why I feel it is that we come to work every day. Ohio City shares shocking photos of adults who overdosed with a small child in the car. Read an excerpt from the article. The driver was barely conscious. A woman was slumped over in the passenger seat next to him, turning blue. In the back of the vehicle, a 4-year-old boy sat restrained in a car seat. Another article. Heartbreaking video captures toddler trying to wake mother after an apparent overdose. A terrified toddler in pink and purple frozen pajamas prodded, pulled, and cried, but was powerless to wake her mother. Mandy McGowan, 36, was unconscious from an apparent opioid overdose, sprawled in the toy aisle of a Family Dollar store in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Her 2-year-old daughter pulled at McGowan's fingers, then sat down beside her and tried to shake her face. Initially, I planned to play this heart-wrenching video, 3 minutes long, taken by bystanders as they waited for paramedics to arrive in an attempt to resuscitate Miss McGowan. But after watching the video, the distress in this young girl was too painful for me to replay. Here's another article, and this one may have gotten me the most. They're not waking up. 4 children call 911 after their parents suspected drug overdose. The 4 children woke up and were about to start getting ready for school when they found their parents, Brian and Courtney Haley, unresponsive and cold in their bedroom. The children, ages 9 to 13, dialed 911. My mom's on the floor and my stepdad's basically pale and they're not waking up, Courtney Haley's daughter told an emergency dispatcher through tears. These are gut-wrenching articles that highlight the severity of addiction and the pain and damage done to families that are there to witness it. Parentless children left behind. And we have all heard these stories. Many of us have seen these stories firsthand. Can everyone in this room just raise a hand if you have someone that was close to you that died of substance abuse, addiction, or an overdose? We know we are in a national epidemic. Many people believe that things are getting better, that we are winning the war on the overdose crisis. The pill mills have been shut down. The unethical treatment centers have been run out of town or out of business. The government has stepped in with welcome and much needed regulatory reform around marketing practices. Even these articles that I shared with you are from several years ago. The news cycle has slowed down, which is understandable with everything else going on in the world, from COVID to politics, but we are not out of the woods. The CDC released this article 3 weeks ago. Drug overdose deaths in the U.S. top 100,000 annually. It's the first time in history that we have lost 100,000 Americans in a 12-month period to drug addiction and overdose. To put that into perspective, in the horrific terror attacks on September 11th, 3,000 Americans lost their lives. That means in 2020 alone, we lost 34 9/11 attacks in lives to addiction and overdose in this country. I want to share a picture with you guys. This is my dad. And that's me in the picture at 2 years old. Unfortunately, this is one of the only photographs I have of him. At this time, he was already in the grips of an active heroin addiction. Shortly after this photo, he died of an overdose. As you saw in the previous slides, my story is not unique. I'm willing to bet that the majority of people in this room have your own story. It may not look exactly like mine. It may not look like mine at all. But we all have our own why. So what is the guardian why? Well, shortly after that photo, a few years later, I found myself in the same grips of addiction, in a similar fight for my life. By the grace of God, I didn't overdose and die. Instead, I was connected with good treatment. My mom found a social worker who I can tell you was selfless. This social worker told my family that help was possible and recommended to my family 2 excellent treatment programs that she knew were able to deliver that help. I am the product of good treatment. I had the benefit of quality clinical services when I needed it. A lot of people don't. It's either affordability, access, or in some of the worst cases, patients actually finding their way into programs that are either unethical or incapable of helping. I'm sure that all of us in this room, if we take a minute, could think of at least one program that we know is in it for the wrong reasons, that we wouldn't send one of our own family members to, that isn't showing up from their why. And the sad and tragic reality of this is that every day patients walk into the doors of those programs with the sincere hope that things are going to get better. And they're not, because those patients are not walking into a program that has the resources to help. So I submit to you guys that that is why Guardian exists. To be a beacon of light above the fray for people that need help. And to provide programs that are able to deliver that help. So I want to close by simply asking each of you, what is your why? I know we all have one. And because of the experience we each have, because of how good we are at what we do, every one of us knows what we're doing. When we come to work, we know what it is we have to do, what it is that has to be done. And many of us have an excellent understanding of how we do it. But the thing that makes Guardian great is that we know why we're doing it. Thank you.